Naked Fear is a movie that I knew absolutely nothing about. However, it was on Amazon Prime, and I was looking for humans, hunting for humans for sport movies, and this one came up. And I wasn't sure if this was the correct subgenre, but it is. And this movie, I wasn't sure because there's a lot of no names in it. The biggest name in it is Joe Mantegna before he was really big. But overall, it has a director that I do recognize, Tom Eberhardt. He directed A Night of the Comet, which is like a cult sci-fi horror, I guess. And Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, I believe. Let me check. Yep, no, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. This is the second movie. So it wasn't like a director that I knew absolutely nothing about. Movie does have a low rating on IMDb, and it's also really long too. It's like a 2-hour movie, isn't it? Maybe. Yeah, it's not a short movie either. But you know, I wanted to give it a chance because, you know, why not? And this movie only has a budget of $500,000, but it does a lot with very little. So let's get into the story. The movie, pretty much nothing happens for the first half hour of the movie. They're introducing all the characters. Danielle is a young girl in her 20s who this guy brought to do a job in New Mexico, I believe. However, he's got her driver's license and he paid for her flight and everything. So now she's supposed to work at this really sketchy club as a stripper, and they expect her to turn tricks to, you know, make money to sort of buy her own freedom. She doesn't have any family support, so she's kind of stuck, you know, working as a stripper. And, you know, they don't really explain, you know, what the relationship is or what the plot is yet. But we're also introduced to a new deputy, or he is a little concerned with the high amount of missing people in that part of town, but him and his wife are trying to start a new life in this smaller town. Not town, it's like a smaller city. And, you know, he's got his partner played by Joe Mantegna, who, you know, is the sort of like no nonsense kind of like old school fashion cop who is not into, you know, doing hard police work. He's into just kind of like, you know, just get the job done, you know, whatever. You want a nice quiet life, sure, whatever. And then we're introduced to the vicious hunter character, who is based off real-life serial killer Robert Hansen. He was a man who kidnapped prostitutes and did terrible things to them, and then would take them to the wilderness in Alaska and then hunt them and then kill them and keep parts of their jewelry for trophies. And it was later made a movie in 2013 called The Frozen Ground with Nicolas Cage and Vanessa Hudgens and John Cusack. So this movie predates that one. It was made in 2007. Nothing happens for the first half hour, but then Danielle is kidnapped and she's sort of thrown into this vicious, you know, middle of nowhere, naked, being hunted, elements all around her. You'd think that her being naked would be very like exploitative, but it's actually done very artfully and tastefully. Same with the stripper scenes. They're not trying to make this like a skin flick. It's more of a cheap thriller, but done really well. Because Danielle, you know, she's played, I don't even know if Danielle's a real name. I think that's the name of the actress, but yeah, Diana is the name. Sorry, Diana is the name of the main character, played by actress Danielle DeLuca. So Diana is trying to survive, and you know, there's a part where you get to see a lot of emoting from her. For one thing, for example, she's like really like distraught, but then there's a sort of moment where she realizes that she's got to stop, you know, being hysterical, and if she wants to survive, she's gonna have to start doing stuff. So she starts trying to forage for food and like equipment to like give her an edge, and then they introduce other elements. And meanwhile, the two police characters are trying to investigate this because Diana's roommate, you know, she's trying to fight for her. But there's also a great theme of like, you know, characters not caring about each other, and like how society doesn't really care if strippers or prostitutes go missing, so they sort of get swept under the rug. So it's like a really cool, you know, cultural relevance that still sticks even though it's like a lower budget movie. I just didn't like how like Joe Mantegna is in it. He's like the highest name, but he's not the villain, which is weird, you know. You figure, you know, if you can get a really good actor that you could have him be the hunter, but he's not. The hunter guy though, really good actor. He's really creepy in the role. And the movie definitely does not follow real life, which I liked. You know, they totally just go in their own direction. So you really can't guess what's going on by the film's end, which I really liked. And it will surprise you. There is an extra scene they throw in at the end that's kind of weird, but overall, for a budget of $500,000, they did a really good job with the actors and the locations they had. I was pretty riveted throughout the entire movie. I wasn't sure if she was going to survive or not, because they decided not just to copy the concept from real life, but not like her story. And there's like a really cheesy scene where when she's being attacked for the first time, she uses her, she kicks the window and like fake CGI spider webs. They should have just skipped that, but because they're lower budget. But overall, Naked Fear is a really nice gem of a movie, especially for the subgenre humans hunting humans for sport. Much better than the 2013 film, which is more of a action-y kind of movie. They really don't explore the hunting part of the story. There's more of a hitman angle, but that one movie has a bigger budget and cast, so. But I prefer this one. So Naked Fear is a pretty solid movie overall. Definitely glad I gave this one a chance. And I give it a 6.5 out of 10.